Everyone, good morning, everyone. I just practicing for when we go live. them? No. I'm Welcome to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's post-sectoral media briefing. I'm Roger Danvers and I'll be moderating this morning. The ministry has been on a path of transformation, ensuring that it demonstrates it's the people's ministry and, of course, that no one is left behind. We're gathered this morning at the head office of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security to discuss some of the plans for this fiscal year coming out of the minister's presentation, the sectoral debate presentation in the Houses of Parliament just yesterday. Thank you so very much for joining. But let me begin by making formal acknowledgement of the presence of the Minister of Labour and Social Security, the Honourable Pernell Charles Jr., Minister of State for the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the Honourable Dr. Norman Dunn, Permanent Secretary for the Ministry, Mrs. Colette Roberts-Risden, of course supported by able Chief Technical Directors, Mrs. Audrey Dare-Williams, Mrs. Dion Jennings, and Mrs. Tamar Nelson. Of course, members of staff of the Ministry of Labour, members of the media, specially invited guests, those who are joining us online, a special and pleasant good morning to you. We're going to be jumping straight in to hear from the minister himself, that will be deep diving into some of the plans and the highlights coming out of his sectoral debate that you definitely should hear about. So without further ado, the Minister Pernell Charles Jr.
Thank you, sir. And good morning to all. I know that it was a long day for many yesterday, but let me firstly acknowledge Minister of State, Dr. Honorable Norman Dunn, Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Colette Roberts-Risden, our Chief Technical Directors who are here, Mrs. Audrey Dare-Williams, Mrs. Dion Jennings, Ms. Tamar Nelson, all of the members of staff of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, members of the media, invited guests, again, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is certainly my distinct pleasure to serve the people of Jamaica. Particularly, I want to give thanks to the Prime Minister for bestowing on me and entrusting in me the responsibility to lead this ministry, the People's Ministry, and for us to lead the transformation of this very important ministry. Now, we are committed to positively impacting the lives of Jamaicans for generations to come. And I'm excited to share the vision of this ministry. And yesterday we had the opportunity in the sectoral to really look on what we have done, what we are doing, and what we plan to do. And it is, without a doubt, important to reiterate the mantra that for us, we are working to ensure that no one is left behind. So let me start off by just expressing thanks. Thanks to all of you across the ministry, whether it is in a leadership position as a CTD or a director, or one of the ancillary workers who whispered to me on the stairs something that ends up in the sectoral. Everyone in this ministry has truly worked together, and it has been a privilege working with a team of resilient and dedicated individuals. You know, we should not take for granted what we have across our parish offices. And yes, we have work to do. Yes, there are challenges. But still, I believe that the strong wit and attention to detail of the team have truly aided us in terms of our operations and the achievements that we have been able to see over the last year. Now, again, let me particularly just acknowledge Minister of State, Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn. And when we came here to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security last year, one of the goals that we identified quickly was to strive to improve the quality of services, the customer service, the experience of the client, of the citizen that was interacting with us, whether it is at our Ripon Road office or at any parish office, or even on the phone calling us and asking to get in touch with us. And we identified quickly a solution and have been advancing. And I want to particularly just express gratitude to the team working with the Innovation Transformation Project that has led to us instituting a contact center and a shift in attitude and approach in terms of how we interact with the public. And we have seen, when we analyze, significant improvements in terms of the feedback. I used to get, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 calls a day. I can't tell you the last time I've had a direct call from someone screaming that they cannot get to the ministry and they have no information from the ministry. Not saying I'm not getting calls every now and again, but if I'm to compare, there's a significant improvement. And that's our goal, to ensure that for every woman, man, or child that requires our support and wants to get in touch with us, we are there and we are improving. So, again, we extend gratitude to all stakeholders and partners across the various ministries, departments, and agencies that we work with. And we acknowledge that it is through partnership and support that we will be able to empower and uplift the citizens of this country, particularly the vulnerable groups that we focus on. And our youths are one who we have taken the time to give support to and to structure programs and grants that focus and facilitate our youth to achieve their goals. We have put in place grants and programs such together with the other ministries, the Ministry of Education and Youth, to focus on the school feeding program, to help furthering the education of our youth. We focus on the New Limb, New Life with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And we are going to continue to stretch across ministries with partnerships to make sure that that collaboration and coordination is going to achieve the best result for Jamaicans, particularly, again, our vulnerable Jamaicans. And these are not just services. When you look on the school feeding program, when you look again on the New Life, New Limb program, you're talking about life-changing moments that have been created. We also have to turn our focus to the approach that we took. When we look on last year, we literally went to every single parish office and listened and asked questions and asked the staff, and particularly went to the experienced staff, the young staff, clients that were outside, old and young, and just ask them questions and listen to them, to their comments and to the invaluable feedback and the suggestions and the criticisms and the commendations. And all of that has truly been taken into consideration in defining and shaping the plans of the ministry for 24-25. And it is a collective effort of which I'm grateful for all the contributions. I want to focus our attention on a very important area, which to me does not get enough attention. But as the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, we must be the ones to carry the discussion around the future of work. It is our conversation to have. And we have to prepare the country. We have to ready Jamaica to be aware of the dynamic changes taking place and to be prepared to grasp the opportunities as we look on the challenges. And so we will be holding and hosting a Future of Work Summit. And it is critical for us to ensure that as many Jamaicans as possible are aware and involved and engaged in these conversations. So a 2-day hybrid event, which allows both in-person and online participation, will be held, and the summit is a strategic push towards education, skill development, and economic transformation, leveraging digital upskilling and AI for growth. We will ensure that we make good use of that week. We'll have World Productivity Day, I believe it's June 20th, correct? And that entire week, 19th? No, not the summit. The World Productivity Day itself, I believe, is the 20th. And the summit is between the 19th and the 21st. And it is our opportunity, and we should aim, all of us, to elevate the conversation around productivity so that every child, everyone working in the private sector, in the public sector, will understand that for Jamaica to grow, it will have to be more than just discussions on the economic stability. It has to move beyond simply the investments being made in the hotel industry. It must involve a conversation around productivity. That is where we will be able to achieve sustainable growth. It is very important. We have to know how to do more with less. Because we are in a world of finite assets, where as you plant more, you have less land to plant on. So we must find ways to identify across the sectors the most efficient and effective ways and mechanisms to achieve. And so we're going to foster dialogue among stakeholders relating to productivity and work trends, and we will be promoting productivity improvements within our economy and hopefully inspiring and engaging persons and providing a platform for networking and collaboration of all attendees and sensitizing across the country of the impact of the future of work and the dynamics on productivity. So it is our 3-day summit, and it is our opportunity as a ministry to truly expose Jamaica to the productivity tools and innovative solutions, and to drive that conversation around the work trends for our country. Again, the World Productivity Day will be in the middle of our summit, and so it's strategic for us. We expect to have a robust social media campaign utilizing all platforms, online, TV, radio, word of mouth, email, every way that we can get it out. We want to get the word out to invite Jamaica. And I expect that all of our agencies will be involved. In addition, as we talk about the summit, our 3-day summit, we will also be hosting and driving the innovation and productivity competition for this year. And we're launching the inaugural innovation and productivity competition for the public sector, which is aimed at encouraging productivity and efficiency in government agencies. Now, this is critical. And why is it important? For me, for us, we consider the government to be the narrators. We have the responsibility to drive the conversation on productivity. So where should it start? If we're going to have the conversation, we must also lead in the action. And so the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is taking on the responsibility of looking within and looking across government and ensuring that we're not just saying go and be productive, but we are providing you with the tools and the support to know how to be productive. And so this competition is to inspire and motivate and encourage across government ministries and departments and agencies. And they will have the opportunity to receive practical training in productivity improvement methodologies, productivity measurement and monitoring tools, and the implementation of productivity strategies. Additionally, public sector entities can showcase their progress in applying these techniques, sharing best practices, and also showing Jamaica the innovative solutions that they have integrated into their operations. All of this, again, being done through the Jamaica Productivity Center, which is an arm of our ministry. And the JPC will announce also through our competition, and in that week, the Public Sector Innovation and Productivity Organization of the Year in June 2024. And of course, the goal of that is for us to make sure that we are motivating the public sector and inspiring persons to see productivity as a lifestyle, as a part of what becomes norm for Jamaica. So this prestigious award will recognize the public sector entity that demonstrates the most significant improvement in productivity, innovation, and efficiency. The competition is a part of the Future of Work and Productivity Summit, our 3-day summit, which aims to prepare our workforce for the 6th industrial revolution. And by participating, the public sector entities will enhance their productivity, enhance their efficiency for sure, improve public service delivery, and they will set a benchmark for excellence and innovation across all sectors, while also contributing to Jamaica's economic growth and development. So we use this platform to encourage all ministries, departments, and agencies to participate in this exciting competition and to showcase your commitment to productivity, innovation, and excellence. Let me just give briefly an overview of the achievements of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. Just to highlight, so far, we have improved several of our processes and provided increases through several of our social security programs. And I'm going to highlight, but of course it includes, but it's certainly not limited to these areas of which we will highlight now. Firstly, PATH beneficiaries will enjoy an increase in benefits starting next week, thanks to a 28.8% budget increase, and this is a testament to our commitment, to the government's commitment to supporting our most vulnerable citizens. Additionally, we are introducing the unemployment insurance to strengthen the national safety net as we expand access to employment opportunities to ensure that no one is left behind. We recall also that our unemployment rate is at 4.2%, the lowest ever, and a globally admired achievement, and this is as a result of the tireless effort across government, including the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, through our career fairs and other engagements, to help to create more jobs and to stimulate economic growth. We have also launched, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the New Life program, and we're proud that through our Innovation Transformation Project, Dr. Dunn and the team, we have now launched, and it is in actual operation, our Customer Contact Center, which has significantly improved the speed of access to our ministry and our responsiveness to customer queries. We have the Disabilities Rights Tribunal, which is another step forward in promoting inclusivity and accessibility. We have our accessibility checklist. Yes, first time ever. We have our accessibility checklist, which will have a meaningful impact now and for generations to come as we embrace accessibility and inclusivity as a norm in how we build our society. Not to mention the new program that will be rolled out soon, the I Am Able program, to empower persons with disabilities, to change the conversation around persons with disabilities, to reach their full potential, to totally remove some of the misconceptions that persons have when they speak about persons with disabilities. And we are proud to also say that we are not only launching the I Am Able program, but we are showing that we are able by placing 3 persons with disabilities in our very important farm work program. Now, this is, again, first time ever. And additionally, we are piloting now the electronic registration system to improve the efficiency and customer satisfaction across our offices. And by the end of the year, we expect, as we talk about technology, to also have neared completion of our electronic work permit system, which is transforming how we process work permits in Jamaica. Again, all of these highlights show that the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is a ministry open to change. There are paradigm shifts in how we are delivering services in the last year, making it faster, more efficient, and more effective. And this is happening because of the commitment of our staff, of our leaders at the ministry, to embrace change and to have that distilled down to all who have the responsibility of interacting with the most vulnerable that we serve. As the People's Ministry, we are going to continue to collaborate, to innovate, to advocate for a future where every single Jamaican, regardless of circumstances, will be able to thrive. It is not perfect, but we are working towards ensuring that no one is left behind. It is our goal that we can provide a space for all to be able to make their own meaningful contribution to Jamaica's development and to build a society where compassion and solidarity prevail and where dignity and rights of Jamaicans are upheld. No one looked down on. And so we are listening, we are learning, and we are improving. That's what we have been doing at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. That is what we will continue to do. We encourage Jamaica to continue to speak to us. I know that between myself and Minister Dunn, we are bombarded with messages on social media, and we may not check or respond to every single one, but we'll get around to it. And we still receive calls. We still get stopped in the hallways. And I want every single person who has something to give, some contribution to make, some recommendation, some criticism, some commendation to know that it is important and it is valued. And so please continue to speak to us, continue to pass to us your own thoughts and vision for your ministry, the People's Ministry. I want to reaffirm as I close the Government of Jamaica's commitment to enhance our services and to strive to meet the needs of our citizens, particularly those who need our help the most. Sometimes who don't have a voice, sometimes who are not seen, sometimes who can't quarrel. We have the responsibility of going out and finding them and helping them and seeing them. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security will remain committed to nurturing an equitable society, a society that empowers individuals to grow and actively contribute to nation building. And so as we move forward, our resolve is to collaborate across ministries, collaborate public and private sector, and to advocate for the future that we want. That's our responsibility. Together, let us do so. Let us forge that society where inclusivity and accessibility are the norm. Increase awareness, improve accessibility, and truly integrate the space for all Jamaicans that we serve. Thank you very much. One love.
Thank you so very much, Minister. Truly, we can say that the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is on its way ensuring that they really reach the grassroots. At this time, I will open the floor for questions. I was told earlier that we have questions coming in from our social platforms. So I believe it's directed to you, Minister Charles. So you can perhaps... Thank you. So, Minister Charles, from your presentation, it's asked from social media, what impact do you expect the Future of Work Summit to have on the lives of workers in the public sector?
I think importantly, we want to provide a space to pass information so people become more aware of what productivity means, of how you can be productive in your own space, whether it is at home or at work. And ultimately, our goal is to ensure that Jamaicans are fitted with an understanding and a pathway to become as productive as possible. That will lead us to the greater sustainability that we need in terms of development of growth that doesn't go up and then down, but that has a steady pace in the direction that we're seeking.
Thank you, Minister. I think you also answered the follow-up question to that one, which would be, how will this initiative lead to a better Jamaica? So I think you answered that. Opening the floor, certainly from our media partners, for questions. But I got the Minister of State is Minister of State, Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn.
I just want to comment a little bit more on what Minister just indicated a while ago with regards to the productivity. The conversation, Minister, is correct. That if you notice, we have had 12 consecutive quarters of economic growth, but the growth is always wavering around a particular number, 1, 1.2, etc., etc. or two. But the conversation you would see generally is that for us to have greater growth rates, we need to have higher productivity. And therefore, we would like persons, both in the public sector, of course, and in the private sector, to start understanding this concept and that conversation that we really need to have if we want to have Jamaica to have a higher growth rate than what it is right now. So this summit is to ensure that the conversation becomes front and center for everyone in Jamaica. It doesn't matter what area you are in, whether you're a gardener or not. This concept of productivity must become a full mantra in our daily lives. So I'd just like to add that. With regards to our parish offices, Minister Charles would have mentioned that one of the tasks we did when we became assigned to this ministry is to visit all the parish offices in Jamaica just to understand exactly what was happening. And we spoke not only to our staff, but all the stakeholders or customers who would have been in the parish offices at the particular time. And we realized that this aspect of customer service within our parish offices is a challenge. And therefore, Minister Charles would have seen it fit for this to become the most important aspect to tackle first. And one of the things that we did, you mentioned the contact center, but more importantly, we're taking this step a little bit further in allowing the points of entry in the parish offices to become a real point of information and acceptance of the persons who are walking in. So the pilot is this: when a person enters the parish offices and the store of vision, they'll be greeted by someone. That person will have a tablet in their hand, and they will, by the questions that they ask, we would be able to identify almost immediately which area or which individual that person needs to speak with. And then we'll literally assign the person to someone so that that person no longer just comes and sit and wait for a name or wait for a number. They'll be dealt with immediately as they come in. Because this is one of the ways we're assuring that we care about you, our customers. We care about our brothers and sisters. And we want to demonstrate that from this ministry, the caring ministry, that we are leaving no one behind. We are taking everybody's views into consideration. And we want to give you the dignity and respect that you deserve. This is a transformation that Minister Charles' vision is for this ministry. And we're going to see it through. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Dunn. There is a question coming in about the Disabilities Rights Tribunal. There for more insight on that, Minister Charles.
So, we have created a platform that allows persons with disabilities to ensure that they can protect their rights and uphold their dignity by challenging whenever they feel that they have been wronged, and by sending that to the tribunal to be deliberated upon. As a matter of fact, we have a case that has now been sent to the tribunal, and that will be, if it has not already, I think it has already started, 21st of May, and there's another hearing coming in June 8th, which really is the new dimension of the narrative around just dispelling the social misconceptions relating to persons with disabilities. You know, the tribunal is a novel concept for Jamaica, but it is something that we hope to be integrated as a norm, because persons with disabilities have a lot to give, and most just want the barriers to be removed. They're not asking for anyone's pity. So that's a big part of the tribunal, and also a big part of the I Am Able campaign, where we are trying to make sure that Jamaica becomes a space where all Jamaicans can feel that there's an equitable opportunity. Many, many, many of our senior citizens are persons with disabilities. Many. But they, you know, we sort of categorize them just as senior citizens. A large portion of senior citizens have some disability. So, you know, this is a very important structure for our country in terms of our approach to ensure that no one is left behind.
Thank you, Minister Charles. Still with you on the accessibility checklist, is the implementation across government, and is there buy-in from the private sector for the accessibility checklist? Could you give us some insight on that?
Well, yes, the implementation needs to be across government and across all areas in the private sector. And we have significant buy-in from the private sector so far. It is our intention to hit the road and to make sure that we're doing more to raise awareness of the checklist, which is to provide opportunities and guidance on how to implement in terms of your infrastructural development, in terms of even your operational design, so that you're not creating inadvertently barriers in how you build your structures or even in how you set up your operation. Because it's not just a physical thing, it's also perhaps communication barriers that can be created. And so we are working with the University of Technology that they have the students that are eager and learning, and will be working with us, the Faculty of Built Environment, to actually start the assessments across government first, to make sure that if we are the ones, if the government is starting this and we are talking about it, we must lead. We must lead not only in what we are telling the country to do, but in our own actions. And so we will be turning our focus on government while also trying to encourage our private sector partners, many of whom are way ahead. Way ahead. Another very important stakeholder must be the municipal corporations, who play a significant role in terms of any type of development across the country.
Thank you, Minister. And final question coming in from online. A follow-up question, certainly. The microphone. Tori, microphone. A follow-up question, Minister Charles. So, Shauna, one moment. I see Karen McCullough ensuring that we can hear you.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. I'm Shoshana Small from the Jamaica Gleaner. Minister, you mentioned that you will be conducting an assessment in collaboration with UTech to look at the compliance rate with accessibility across the government and private sector. I'm summarizing. That's what I got. When do you intend to begin this assessment? Because the act, has been passed, and people are still complaining that we don't really see anything much being done. So when will the assessment begin, rather?
So we should be looking at the memorandum of understanding sometime later this year, perhaps October, which will set out the specific start date. And it will be a peripheral audit that will, again, assist in improving the awareness across government, but also allowing us to know what is the state of our government institutions now, and identifying where we have areas in need of improvement.
Thank you, Minister. There's another question coming in from the media.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vanessa McKenzie from the media company Hour Today. Minister, you had made mention that the ministry was having discussions on sending 3 persons with disabilities on the farm work program. I wanted you to just speak on that. I know you were having discussion with stakeholders in Canada. I wanted to find out what the feedback has been from them, what type of disabilities the persons would have had, and also are they already on the program?
So let me say this. The feedback has been incredible. It has been on perhaps more positive than I would have thought. People have embraced the concept. They have actually you actually have discussions now with other employers who are coming to us to see how they can be a part of the program. They are very encouraged by Jamaica's stance, and that we are, integrating these novel and I'd say cutting-edge, more modern approaches to connecting the areas in our ministry. The Abilities Foundation has been instrumental in identifying persons because they already have a program that was facilitating the learning and support for 20 rural women who are persons with disabilities. And so it wasn't difficult for us to identify from that batch. I believe the first 2 came from that group of rural women who are persons with disabilities working in that program with the Abilities Foundation. And they could be easily put into our program. As to if they're gone, I don't think any have left as yet, but I do know that we have already identified the employer and they are ready for dispatch. As to the exact disability, I'm not going to go into the specific detail, but they are physically fit, they are capable, they are competent, and they are eager to learn, and they are farmers. They have been farmers here in Jamaica, and they have proven and established from their participation in the program in Jamaica that they have all of the assets that are required to fulfill the duties and responsibilities that they'll be asked to fulfill in Canada.
Thank you, Minister. The Gleaner has another question.
Good morning again, Minister. Speaking of farming, there have been reports from stakeholders here that we do have a farm laborer shortage here in Jamaica. So I want to know what kind of partnership, if any, exists between your ministry and the Ministry of Agriculture to address this issue, and to what extent does the seasonal agricultural program contribute to this labor shortage?
Very good question. Matter of fact, myself and Minister Green are in touch. We should be having a meeting very soon to discuss the collaboration around the preparation of our workers for the Overseas Employment Program, and how those persons who are not either approved or sent overseas will be able to be diverted or will be able to be integrated, rather, into work in Jamaica. And the goal is for us to see the program, the Farm Work Program, as an opportunity to gain skills that become transferable and useful to Jamaica. We want persons to go up to Canada and to learn how to operate and design and other procedures with greenhouses that can come back and help Jamaica to become more climate resilient. We want also to be able to train and prepare Jamaican workers who can have the opportunity to be exposed and also come back to Jamaica and to utilize new techniques, modern techniques, to the benefit of their own farms here or to whichever farm that they are working on in Jamaica. So there's a lot of room for collaboration. Of course, I do think that in this financial year, we will have to have more conversation around the actual specifics of what the shortage that we speak of is. So it requires data. We have a lot of general conversation around these issues, but we need more accurate data to guide the decisions and the policies. And so that's a part of the conversation that we are having. A matter of fact, this is a good segue to speak of the Spiro project, which is perhaps the most significant new project that we will have for the ministry, the $20 million investment, which is arising from our collaboration with the World Bank through that loan facility. And Spiro which will help with the expansion and enhancement of our social protection programs, speaks to the need to have greater data analytics and to use that data to help to drive better policies, better decisions. And it's the same approach that we have to take in the conversation around the shortage of labor. One of the things we're also doing is collaborating not just with the Ministry of Agriculture, but with the HEART NSTA to see how together we can identify the programs, the training that will be more specific to the needs of the sectors in our country, not just agriculture, but any sector where we see that there is deficiency in identifying the right skill set. This is something that we have been seeing for some time. It's one of the reasons why our approach to work permits, for instance, is facilitatory, where we see after analysis that there is gaps or inadequacy in terms of identifying the right skill set for a company. Jamaica has never created barriers. We have simply asked persons to follow the rules, and once those rules are followed, I would say that 90% of the time, persons, or even more than that, persons are permitted to come and to work. We welcome skilled persons into our country, and a big part of what we're doing moving forward is to welcome them in and then to put as part of the consideration that those skills be transferred to a Jamaican so that we will be able to follow up in the next year with Jamaicans who can fill those positions.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any more questions from the floor? I see, yes, there's another question coming in.
Good morning. I'm Alicia Smith with the Jamaica Observer. So, Minister, you had briefly mentioned that the ministry will be working with eGov to introduce an electronic method to improve the life certificate verification process. Could you say what this method will entail and how user-friendly it will be for pensioners?
Well, I couldn't give you the details yet because they're working on it. Okay. But what I can tell you, it's a part of it is as a result of our approach to listening to the concerns. And it's not just now. This is not something that we brilliantly came up with in the last year. The ministry has identified this challenge for some time. And they have actually implemented a number of approaches to help to resolve it. You have persons now, pensioners, who have to drive from way Westmoreland to come drop off a life certificate. It's difficult. Right now it's challenging. Many times it is misplaced. Different things are occurring that cause difficulty for it to be submitted. And once it's not submitted in time, you can imagine the domino effect. The result of that is that you do not receive that payment in time. And for many Jamaicans, that payment is critical. So our goal at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is, and this is not just for life certificate, if you notice, every aspect of what you hear us talking about is transformational. It is utilizing the technology to make the experience of our customer, whether it is a farm worker, a pensioner, a person with disability, whoever it is, we want that experience to be more efficient, more effective for them. And so this collaboration with eGov is supposed to allow for greater efficiency in how we deliver the service of that life certificate, getting to the pensioner, and how they deliver that life certificate to us. So it is safe dispatch, and they can be assured of getting their payments. And we're also sending those payments straight to their bank accounts. And we want to encourage Jamaica, for all pensioners, to give us the information so they can get that payment directly to their bank account. Again, a part of the process of transformation to reduce the anomalies and increase the efficiency.
Thank you so much, Jamaica Observer and Minister, for your response. Are there any other burning questions from the floor?
I want to, if there's no question, I just want to use the opportunity, just as we close off, to highlight two new initiatives that I think will be critical. The Jamaica Jobs.gov.jm, which is a rebranding of our portal to allow anyone who is a job seeker or an employer trying to identify the right fit employee to engage the ministry. Jamaica Jobs.gov.jm will be the rebranded name. It will be what we will be selling to the country. And we want to invite and encourage Jamaica to get used to the name. Very soon, it will be launched. There will be a separate launch for it, but it is a part of the new approach to ensuring that we facilitate for free, the connectivity between those looking for work and those looking for the right people to work. The second thing that I want to mention, which I think is very important, and I make this call to all Jamaicans, to all friends of Jamaica, whether you are local, regional, or international. The Jamaica Partnership Program will be an instrumental mechanism for you to find your way to help the Ministry of Labour and Social Security target support to the most vulnerable. Many Jamaicans are overseas right now wanting to help, and they will say to you, I just don't know how. I just don't know how to help this group. And so we have looked across government. You have the National Education Trust, which is working very well to give support to schools. We see where you have the Adopter Clinic, and that's working very well in the Ministry of Health and Wellness to give support to health clinics across the country. And as the ministry that treats with the most vulnerable, low-income families, persons with disabilities, senior citizens, children with disabilities at our early stimulation program, we have a range of opportunities for Jamaicans to get involved in developing our nation by targeting support to the people who need that support the most. The Jamaica Partnership Program, JPP, will become that platform, that portal, that pathway to deliver the support in the right way. So look out for it.
Thank you so very much, Minister Charles. I just want to assume that there are no more questions coming from the floor. All right. So thank you so very much to members of the media, especially for joining us this morning. For those who are watching online, thank you so very much for joining the post-sectoral media briefing, certainly coming from the sectoral presentation of our Minister, Minister Perennial Charles Jr. Thank you so very much for joining us online. Thank you for joining us in person, ladies and gentlemen. It was a wonderful time spent together to learn of how the Ministry of Labour will be impacting a wide cross-section of Jamaica, ensuring that it demonstrates it's the people's ministry and leaving no one behind. I'm Roger Danvers, and it was my pleasure to moderate this morning. Of course, we have a video to show you from the Jamaica Innovation Center, speaking about the innovation competition. The Jamaica Productivity Center video that I'm sure you'll be interested in. Thanks again for joining us, and have a pleasant day.
Ready to win big! Jamaica, it's that time of year again. The Productivity Innovation Competition 2024 is back, and it's bigger and better than ever before. We have seen incredible innovations come to life. from groundbreaking solutions for personal productivity to game-changing strategies for national transformation.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is calling all university students, small and medium entrepreneurs, government agencies, and large companies. We've got 4 exciting competitions with fantastic prizes.
And this year, with the theme, Bridging the Innovation and Productivity Gaps, Education, Skills, and Economic Transformation. We're challenging you to take it to the next level.
Adtelligent is a proud sponsor of this competition because our 2 clients, the Development Bank of Jamaica through their Biggie program and then the Ministry of Labour and Social Security through their Productivity Centre in support of their Future for Productivity Summit. So we understand the critical role that modern technology, artificial intelligence and automated systems play in driving productivity and innovation throughout Jamaica. So by sponsoring this competition, we're not just investing in today, we're paving the way for Jamaica to have a stronger, more productive society in the future.
The Development Bank of Jamaica is in full support of this competition. In today's fast-paced world, staying ahead means embracing cutting-edge technology and leveraging it to its fullest potential. By integrating modern tech solutions in our daily lives, we can streamline processes, boost efficiency, and unlock new opportunities for growth and prosperity. And that's exactly why initiatives like this are so important. By encouraging and rewarding innovation in areas like AI and automation, we're not just shaping the future, we're building a stronger, more resilient economy for generations to come.
So let's get down to business. We've got 4 exciting segments waiting for you in this competition. First up, we've got the tertiary and entrepreneurship segments. We want to know how you intend to enhance productivity, whether it's at the personal level, the company level, or the national level. You've got a chance to shine by submitting a 500-word essay or a 5-minute video with a poster supporting your idea. Tell us your goal and specifically, how does your innovation supercharge productivity? Who stands to benefit? And what resources are required to make it happen?
Next up is the Productivity Innovation of the Year Award, reserved for businesses and organizations. Entrants are required to outline their groundbreaking innovation with a maximum of 500 words or a 4-minute video with your idea. You'll need to demonstrate how your innovation drives productivity, who it impacts, the resources involved, and confirm it was implemented no earlier than 2022.
Lastly, we're offering the Public Sector Productivity Competition. This presents a unique opportunity for public sector organizations to engage in practical training focused on lean management methodologies. Participants will receive guidance on strategy implementation and undergo a professional assessment to evaluate progress.
Whether you're a student with a game-changing idea or an entrepreneur ready to take the world by storm, there's something for everyone in this competition. So don't miss out on your chance to make waves and win big.
Click the link below for more details on how you can be a part of these incredible opportunities and details for your respective segment. So, dust off those brilliant ideas, rally your team, and let's make the magic happen once again.